What if the universe doesn't punish the wicked, but simply mirrors the energy we send outward with perfect, unhurried precision? A young student once thought he was clever enough to outsmart his own teacher. He had the technique, the timing, and the confidence. What he didn't have was wisdom. And the universe, as it always does, quietly prepared his lesson. The Bhagavad Gita teaches in chapter 3 that every action we perform carries a seed, and seeds, by their very nature, must eventually bloom. Krishna tells Arjuna that no one escapes the fruit of their own doing. Not through cleverness. Not through speed. Not through laughter. The harvest is not a punishment. It is simply the completion of a cycle that began the moment we chose our action. Buddhism deepens this further with the concept of pratyasmukta, dependent origination. Nothing arises alone. Every cause creates a condition, and every condition shapes what follows. The student who planned a prank believed his action existed in isolation. But the universe doesn't work in isolated moments. It works in rivers, and every stone you throw creates ripples you cannot predict or outrun. The first lesson is this: impatience blinds us to consequence. When we act from excitement, from ego, from the thrill of the moment, we stop seeing the full picture. The student saw only the prank, the laughter, the reaction, the story to tell friends. He never paused to ask, what comes after? Impatience narrows our vision to the next 5 seconds and forgets the next 5 minutes. The second lesson is about respect and its invisible armor. The Stoics believed that virtue, acting with integrity toward others, creates an internal fortress nothing can breach. When we disrespect someone, especially a teacher, a guide, a mentor, we don't just dishonor them. We quietly dismantle something within ourselves. The student's prank wasn't just a joke. It was a small erosion of his own character, dressed in laughter. The third lesson is that knowledge without humility becomes a weapon turned inward. The student had real skill, enough to attempt a complex technique. But skill without wisdom is like fire without a hearth. It doesn't warm the room. It burns it. The Gita reminds us that true knowledge always bows before something greater than itself. The moment we use our gifts to diminish others, we diminish ourselves first. The fourth lesson is perhaps the gentlest: karma doesn't arrive with thunder. It arrives quietly, through the very door we opened. The student used his own technique, and it returned to him through the natural unfolding of the moment. Not as revenge. Not as punishment. Simply as completion. The river always finds the sea. The action always finds its echo. Here is the deepest truth, the one that reframes everything. We are never really playing pranks on others. We are rehearsing who we are becoming. Every small action is a practice run for our character. The student who tricks his teacher is quietly training himself to underestimate wisdom. And the person who underestimates wisdom will one day stand before a moment that demands it and find themselves completely unprepared. Today, before any action taken in haste or mischief, pause for just one breath. Ask yourself, am I acting from my highest self or from my most impatient one? That single breath is not weakness, it is the space where wisdom lies. The Stoics called it the pause between stimulus and response. In that pause, you choose who you are. Practice it once today. Then again tomorrow. The universe is not a judge sitting on a throne. It is a mirror, vast, patient, and perfectly honest. What you send outward returns, not to punish you, but to teach you. The student learned more in that one moment than in many ordinary lessons. And perhaps that was the greatest gift his impatience ever gave him. Subscribe to LifeVeda for daily wisdom that transforms your life.